Whereas abroad, they would take history, they would take arts, they would take geography, and then they would pursue an ACCA qualification, they would pursue a CFA qualification. But by then, they'd formulate their own sort of communication skills, their own awareness, self-awareness, which is, I really like that word you used, and based on that, choose their career path for the next 40 or so years, not at 13. So that, and the fact that being an educator myself, I find students' communication skills are increasingly poor. Unfortunately, writing, debating, sharing, because it's as if we are children and we're playful and we're mindful and we're present, and then something happens, and this tends to happen at school age at some point, and you start being more, taken aback, take a step back, don't question, study, see, read the book, and this happened to me. Before I came out of my shell, before I had that epiphany, I was very much into the system. I studied, economics. I studied only the capitalist system because that is the only system that was fed to us. I never debated, never had barely a presentation. And if I did present a couple of times at university, never got any feedback. And these are skills that students now are sorely lacking, because leaders, you are the expert in the subject, need to communicate. It's no use having a mathematical background or I don't know, understanding International Accounting Standard 36, footnote 5, unless you can't, debate it. So I don't understand why we do not learn soft skills as an integral part of our syllabus. Especially in our field.
Yep. Well, I couldn't agree more with that. As we're repeating here, I'm very much fond of Scouts, and Scouts focuses on soft skills, and it gives the opportunity to people to harness, sharpen, and explore these kind of skills, and which are transferable skills, because you mentioned debating, goes hand in hand with public speaking, but public speaking, you have to be confident. If you're not confident, you can't do public speaking. You can be insecure about certain things. Yes, of course, we all have our own insecurities. But where do you cultivate confidence? How do you challenge those insecurities? And you might not overcome them, but learn how to coexist with them. Where do we do this? Neither work nor school, we can't do this in the usual channels. We're not exposed to this kind of school of thought at work or at our academic life.
And yet, on job descriptions, what do you see? Interpersonal skills, communication skills, team player, leadership skills, all of these are integral parts of, probably transferable, as you said, to so many fields. And yet we don't teach them, at least in the manner they should be taught, in my view.
As much as I understand, because it can be so subjective. So when you're teaching leadership and all of these kind of soft skills, it can be so subjective that it's very challenging, or we have to really change our education system and the way we pass on education. So the philosophy has to completely change, because in order to reach the individual in the collective, it's definitely challenging. So we have to evolve as well as educators. So
and educators, as we know, are not the highest paid individuals, in the currency.
Exactly.